Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty for the top and bottom 3 comics of the week for July 19th, 2022. Alright guys, you're going to hear my papers rattle around because I have a lot. That's one of the reasons this video is a little later than usual. It's because I read 16 comics. So yeah, 16 comics. You hear thumps, it's because I'm hitting the mic on accident or something with my notes. So once again, 16 comics. I'm going to go through each one of these with a brief review. First though, I'm going to hit the top 3, then I'm going to hit the bottom 3, and then I'm just going to briefly go over each of the other ones. Once again, this video is my opinions. Yours are often possibly different, so feel free to share. What are your top 3? What are your bottom 3? Where do you think I went wrong? Just try to make it constructive, if you will. Alright, so we'll first start with the ones I think you should go out there and get. So if you haven't got your comic books this weekend, here's where we go. My number 3 was The Flash, number 784, with a 7.4 out of 10. Once again, that's The Flash with a good solid score of 7.8 for number 784 with 7.4 out of 10. Just so if you know, a 7 is a solid book. In my rating scale, below 7 we're starting to get crappy, just so you know that regard. So anyway, with The Flash, I thought this was solid art in this book. It definitely had some solid fun art, and it had twists in it that made the story quite good, and it's a fast-paced issue, pun intended. A fast-paced issue with The Flash. Alright, so my number 2, I am going through these a little bit fast since there's 16 books today. It took me a little while to read all these, was Batman Superman World's Finest number 5, where I gave a 7.5 out of 10. You know, this is the end to this particular story arc, and I think this is a good one. If you haven't been getting it, to go ahead and get all the issues in the story arc and enjoy it. The art was solid all the way out, and it's nice having a team up as well with Doom Patrol in the book. So if you needed some Doom Patrol fix, you can get your Doom Patrol, not Patrol fix right here. So you get all those. Once again, this is a book, I think it's been a strong book, and I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. And my number 1 is Maestro World War M, number 5. I'm a big fan of this series, and this is going to be the last one. It's the conclusion issue at 7.9 out of 10. Now, if you've been reading those, or you haven't been reading those, they've been a series of mini-series, and this has happened before the Future Imperfect storyline. Well, this one is, at least as they have it shown here, is the last one of the miniseries. So they had several miniseries. This will be it. The next one from here going on is Future Imperfect. If you've never read that, strongly suggest you go out and read that. So once again, this is the end of the story. I recommend going back and getting those issues. It's a solid book with solid art. You know, I wish it did have a better ending for Dr. Doom, though. I just seem like Dr. Doom deserves better, but it's Doom. You never know what he'll survive and what he can go through next. And it had to be setting up the Future Imperfect stories. Once again, a 7.9 out of 10. This is my number 1 book. I thought it was strong. I've been loving this series. I am biased because I loved Future Imperfect as well, so keep that in mind. But that's just my views. Definitely a go get. Get all those miniseries for the Maestro books there. They're all good. All right, now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, the bottom, and then we'll go over the ones that are in between. But before I do, I want to say thank you to these people here. Without these people, this video, as well as others, would not be possible. They continue to help and support this channel. And speaking of that, you can help out. One of the ways you can help out is like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you have other ways to help out too, you want to help out with just a little bit of money as a one-time donation, we have a Streamlabs link below. You can click on that and you can donate just once to help me out and the channel. Or we have a Patreon and Subscribe Star, which are going to get special videos just for you that others don't get. Also, sometimes you get some that are a little early, as well as I've been putting up music. So you have a music bank if you're making videos or you want background tracks for anything. You have all that music as well, and more is to come. So lots of little special things for your support, because we greatly appreciate you here. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bin. My number 3 at the bottom was Black Adam number 2. I gave it a 6.91. You know, I have a lot of faith in this series and a lot of hope, but the art was okay. The story was decent, but the issue felt to me like it was a little slow. I don't really care for this White Adam character yet. I don't know. I hope I'm going to like him like I like Damien, because I started off hating Damien and then I am liking him. Maybe I'll be that way with this character, but right now the character just isn't grabbing me. I'm not caring for it. I don't like it, but we'll see where it goes. You know, Shazam, Captain Marvel, that version has his family of heroes. Maybe it's time for Black Adam to extend and expand out too and share some of his powers with others as well. So hopefully though, they'll be decent characters like we've had on the Shazam side. All right, my number 2 as we sink in the cesspool, if you will, is SpiderGwen verse number 4, which I will say it's got up to a 6.9. Yeah, who would have thought, right? I'm not a fan of this series. I don't care for the story at all. As a matter of fact, I'm not a big fan of the character. I think they're diluting Spider-Man too much. It's just... It is the best issue, though, in this miniseries. If out of 4 out of 5 so far, this is the best issue. It actually makes a little bit more sense with the story. And if you really, really, really like this character and multiverse stuff with multiple versions of characters, this might be the book for you. But I'm not a big fan of that. I think Marvel is beating it to death. DC is hitting it too hard in a way, too, as well. We're just seeing too much of this, and they're going to burn it out. And being with Gwen, I mean, I'm not saying Spider-Gwen's a bad character per se. It's just, you know, I'm getting tired of all these books showing this character and this mantle, this mantle, this mantle. They're diluting the mantle of the characters. They need to keep what makes a character special. When you do too many variants of them, you're really diluting that, in my opinion. But you might love it. If you so, let me know in the comments. All right, my last one here, before we get into the middle of the road. The one that I definitely did not like. And this one was really, 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 I cannot stress how disappointing this one is to me, because I like the cast. I've read the previous series, and it's Dark Crisis Young Justice number 2. Boy, you know, I'm a Young Justice fan, and I realize they tend to go a little bit of based on what's current and try to be trendy. So I expect that with the dialogue and things of a Young Justice book. I really do. But this one, boy, did this one disappoint in every way. It really did. I mean, first of all, the story is okay at best. The dialogue in this book is terrible, though. And I do give it some slack due to the story being in a different reality, if you will, as well as based on, they're trying to, it seems to me, to be a little bit like the previous Young Justice series. But the writer uses the dialogue to insult the past. They really do. I mean, it's like they're taking cheap shots at the past in comic books. This book is so woke, it's ridiculous. I was looking forward to this miniseries, but now I really fear just where it's going to end up. It's like they went out of their way to be as woke as possible. And once again, I realize I'm giving it a little slack because it's an alternate reality, if you will. Another multiverse, potentially, is where we're looking at. But it's still just stupid. I mean, it's just not good. It's like Batman wants Robin to be with Stephanie, but he gets all offended, and then Batman says it's a phase. Well, first of all, for anybody that's read Robin for a long time, even during the original Young Justice, Robin loves Stephanie. It's one of the best comic book combos of a pairing, in my opinion, that we've had in decades. These two really showed a lot of care. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read the original Robin series. After even the miniseries, and that there was a true connection between these two characters. It made more sense to them changing the character of Robin just because they failed to know what to do, or they wanted to do something to stir up attention. Really, it's what they did to Tim Drake here. But it's just every character in here. It's written really, really bad. The dialogue is terrible. I definitely say avoid this one. I gave this book a 5 out of 10. Yeah, a 5 out of 10. This book I was probably looking really, really forward to. Not probably. I was looking really, really forward to and hoping for the best. And it really failed on every level except for art. The art was decent. So once again, 5 out of 10. Shame on you. Crap book. Thanks a lot for ruining Young Justice. All right, so let's talk about the middle of the roads here. Aquaman and the Flash. Void Song, number 2, I gave it a 7.15 out of 10. I thought that, the two heroes left, those two, are an interesting combination. The art's good, and this, it's a pretty good story. So if you like to see old team-up styles with just one or two characters, two characters, not one or two, just two characters together, this was probably a good one. Now, a surprisingly good book for me was Artemis Wanted number 1. Good story, giving a lot of insight into Artemis. Real buzz. I give it a 7.23, by the way. If you like this character, you really want to pick up this issue. So if you're an Artemis fan, get this issue. Let's see here. We had Blood Syndicate number 3 continues to be strong. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was an interesting character. The storyline continues to be good, and the artwork is good. I definitely think if you want a straight kind of gritty story, not too gritty, but yet with superpowers and something you haven't read much or seen much of, this might be a good one for you to check out. Another one I checked is DC vs. Vampires, sorry. All Out War number 1 of 6. I gave it a 7.12 out of 10. That's the first story, and it was okay. And, you know, there was a side story in it, too, which I didn't find as good. It's an interesting first story, nice reading, nice seeing some of the lesser-known characters. It's off to a good start. Not bad. Might be worth checking out. Next I have on my list is Nightwing number 94. I gave it a 7.13 out of 10. The art was okay. The story is interesting. And I like Nightwing versus Blockbuster. It takes me back to some old Chuck Dixon days on the Nightwing series when it was really good. So hopefully it will be a decent book. We'll see how it continues to go. And let's see here. Avengers number 58. I gave it a 7.135. Yeah, I was splitting hairs on this week. 7.135 out of 10. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this overall story arc. I've already mentioned that. But this issue was okay. And the art was okay. So that's really where this book just lands in the it's okay. Next I have Deadpool Bad Blood number 3. I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. There's lots of traditional Deadpool action in this particular book. The story is decent, and the art's pretty good too. Overall 7.2. If you like Deadpool, this might be a series for you. And next I have Moon Knight Black, White, and Blood number 3 of 4. I give it a 7.14. I really, really liked the first story in this issue. I thought it was really clever, well written, very, very good. The art fit well too. The next story was also pretty darn good. I enjoyed that. The weakness of this book is the third story. The third story just, it was meh at best, so it brought down the rating a little bit, so I gave this book a 7.14. The next book on my list was Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings number 1. My first question is, why do we have to keep relaunching this title with new number 1s? Why don't they just say Shang-Chi is getting his own unlimited series until they decide to cancel it? My guess is they realize number 1s get attention and it helps foster sales, but hopefully he doesn't need it. I didn't look at the sales for a long time lately to see how Shang-Chi's sales are. Maybe he needs a number 1 to boost them, but anyway, they keep doing it. They're almost handling it like it's a TV series, and each time there's a new story arc, there's a new number 1. So once again, make him an ongoing series. Give him some credit. The art was good. The story seems to be capitalizing on the movie from here. So if you like the movie, you might want to check out this book. If not, you don't care about the character too much, you might want to skip it. But I thought it was an okay book, and I gave this a 7.21 out of 10. Next on my list was She-Hulk number 5. This one I gave a 7.05. You know, it's a pretty good issue. You get a little bit of action, you get some dialogue, you get some more introspection into the characters, which is interesting. Overall, it's really not a bad book. The art was okay. I gave this book a 7.05 out of 10. And so I read a lot of books. There you go. 16 different titles. And so that's what I have. If I missed something you think I should have read, there are some other ones I want to still read, but there's only so much time that I can fit in here. I'd eventually, I think, like to give Catwoman a try, but usually when the series is under 100 issues, I like to start at the beginning and work my way through. So maybe I'll start diving into that when I get time, and seeing if I can play catch up. What else am I missing? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear them. Thanks for sitting through all this with me. I appreciate it. Until next time, keep it frugal.